Hoyer, is Mike Johnson someone you believe you and the other Democrats can work with?
I don't have enough knowledge to believe, but I certainly have enough, I have hope. I thought he gave a speech which spoke of bipartisanship, spoke of bringing people together, spoke of elevating the House and its confidence with the American people that it can work together on their behalf. And I hope that happens. I don't know Mike Johnson, so I can't tell you how much faith I have that will be, because obviously performance is what counts, not words.
Sorry to interrupt. Is his record alarming to you?
Yes.
Voting to
Yeah, I think he.
What
I just said to somebody, they've now displaced 3 leaders in a row: McCarthy, Scalise, and Emmer. And they moved right the first 2 times. Then when they moved to the center, that center lasted 4 hours. And Trump dictated that was not an acceptable choice. And so he was rejected out of hand. Now he withdrew, so it wasn't a vote. But it is really sad that Trump continues to have so much sway with people who ought to know a lot better, for a guy who's been indicted and charged with so many different crimes and been found in a civil case to be responsible for taking advantage of a woman in a department store.
So here we are on day one. Is there a worry at all that Johnson is a proxy? Trump will basically be able to do his bidding in the House if he has a loyalist.
Look, I don't know Mr. Johnson well enough to make that observation. I don't want to make it at the start of his speakership. I hope for the country. I hope for the House as an institution, and I hope for the American people he pursues the path that he articulated in his speech, of trying to bring us together, of listening to one another, and hopefully acting an agenda which represents the majority of Americans, not factions of Americans.
And then one last thing, your level of confidence that we'll be able to avoid a government shutdown in 23 days.
Again, you know, I don't know the speaker, and he has not been tested. He hasn't been in leadership. I think he was vice chair of, but we'll see. And my hope is that he will, as I said and repeat, have the House be what he says he wants it to be. And that is a body that respects one another, that works together with one another, that compromises with one another. One of, I think, the sad facts was all 3 of the Republican leaders said during the course of this election they wouldn't work with Democrats. Now, he didn't say that, and I hope he doesn't adopt that as a policy, because after all, we're half of the House. And if we weren't half of the House, they would have elected somebody long before this. And for the country's sake, we have a lot of crises going on, and we need to address those crises in a bipartisan way. And as I've said throughout this saga of the Republicans being unable to come to grips with a decision, I've said that we have a constructive 300 people who have voted on a regular basis together, Republicans and Democrats, to make sure we didn't default on the debt, make sure that we had an agreement on funding levels, made sure that we kept government open. Over 300 of us voted on that. And on foreign policy, Ukraine, over 300 of us in a bipartisan basis have voted to continue supporting Ukraine in its fight for freedom and democracy and international law. I'm hopeful that continues. Now, unfortunately, the new speaker was not on many of those votes, so we'll see.
Appreciate your time.